it's Wrestling Hero Figs. This is not the first time that we're seeing the crossover of two major brands, WWE and UFC. Today I want to cover the ones that have made the switch over. Some originally had started in UFC and then developed themselves into WWE talent, but there's also been certain situations where they were wrestlers and then they went over to UFC and then made the jump back to wrestling. Well, not WWE in this situation, but AEW nonetheless. Jack Swagger, he's had a successful career so far. He hasn't had that many matches, but nonetheless, Swagger right there, he did some when he went over to UFC. You can't necessarily say that about the great one. Well, actually, he ain't that great anymore, man. All he's doing is running his mouth saying, oh, I'm going to come back to WWE. He keeps trolling us. And I'm starting to get to that point where I've lost hope to where it's like, it's never going to happen, man. We'll never see CM Punk in a ring again. And to be quite honest, I'm at that point where I don't want to see him back. His heart is not in it. He told everybody, he says, look, wrestling, I'm not that interested in it. It might be if he does come back, it'll be to either do like promos, backstage interviews. As far as UFC, I do want to cover, actually, do you guys really want me to cover his UFC career? Swagger, what do you think? Don't do it, Hero Fakes. It's been so bad. It's been hands down the worst. And even Dana White, he don't want him back, man. That's how bad it was. He doesn't want to give him any more chances. And that goes the same for the original bro. Dana White and Matt Riddle, they're like water and oil, man. They just don't mix. And here's the thing about Goldberg. One thing that Goldberg needs to know about Matt Riddle is that this guy means business. These guys got some serious strikes. If he hits you and he lands you hard, you're going to be thinking twice about coming back to Crown Jewel or whenever they call back these legends. Actually, you know what? I know he's got some UFC. He never had like a full-on career in UFC. But if Matt Riddle and Goldberg, just because of the weight difference, yes, he's got more of an ability in a UFC ring, but he's also taken several, I follow him on Instagram and I've seen him take a lot of classes in Ultimate Fighting, so he knows his way around the octagon, but it'd be awesome to see these two go at. So there is already development, so when they do finally fight, how is it going to go down? Is it going to be like a wrestling match, or are they going to kind of do it where they did with Ken Shamrock back in the Attitude Era? Yes, they did it. Back then, they knew who this man was, what he did for that company in mixed martial arts. So what they did is that they brought the entire dome in a pay-per-view. They put it over by the entrance stage. They had a full, actually, it wasn't a UFC match. There was a lot of mixture of wrestling, but Ken Shamrock right there, one of the first to kind of pave the way. And that goes the same for Dan Severn. Now, the unfortunate thing about when they were introducing UFC fighters into the wrestling ring, they never got the spot like how they're seeing it right here with Cain Velasquez and Brock Lesnar. They were more mid-carders. Like, sure, every now and then they got some chances, but they were never in the main picture. Like, that's not what sold tickets. It was just like, oh my gosh, UFC, it's a real thing. And so is Lashley. Lashley also did it. Bobby Lashley, but the one that ultimately had the most success, not just in one brand, because the thing about a lot of these guys that were in UFC, apart from Lesnar, all right, Lesnar, he did a lot in WWE as well, but Ronda Rousey, she achieved a lot of success in both rings, the Octagon as well as WWE. A big shocker and surprise, and still one of my favorite matches from her WrestleMania match debut ever. Like, that pay-per-view wouldn't have played out the way that it did had it not been for Ronda. Now, these right here, I want to talk about these. Now that we're here close to Crown Jewel, Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez, one thing that I will recommend you, recommend prior to watching this match when it goes down over there in Saudi Arabia, watch these two in the octagon. See what they did, because Cain, he's got some fists, man. He lets those fly. Lesnar's going to be in trouble. This guy always loves to go off script. But when Cain Velasquez, if he does decide to do that with Cain, I can tell you this, man, he ain't gonna hold back. He's gonna go full out, man. It's gonna be epic. I'm kind of hoping a lot from this. I'm sure it'll kind of be I mean, he's got some wrestling experience. We've seen him in AAA down there, but not enough to where it stood out. I mean, there's only one video on YouTube right now, and it was a tag team match. So we haven't seen his full potential. But hey, if Lesnar does what he traditionally does in any of the matches, where he just gets upset and completely just goes off whatever they told him to do, it's gonna go down, and it's gonna go down big. I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.